Hey, Shalom, Shalom, and stuff. So, but give no praise to Yahweh, Shem, Yahushua, Bashem, Kudash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and honors to brothers doing the work of truth, while sincerity. This is a quick one, answering, the question: does Great Millstone allow, people from the land of Ham into the camp, whatever, what have you? Look, I'm originally from the land of Zimbabwe. Right, and through the Spirit, the Lord led me to this truth, right? And now I'm in the truth from the camp, and Lord's will, I'm one of the men of the Lord, right? One of the Lord's will, I'm of the elect, right? So yeah, now I just got some precepts, because at the end of the day, it's a spiritual thing, and the fact that you are gonna have Israelites from all over the four corners of the earth is a stumbling block unto some people. And it is a thing, sometimes you might have a demon, if you'll say a brother from, one of the countries not directly on the sign, you might have a demon. I'll say that as a personal testimony where it was, a thing of like, if, for a period of time, I wasn't sure, when I first came in, I was like, maybe I might, whatever, what have you, right? Why? Because at first, you're still growing. Right, really, when you first come in, you're like a newborn baby. A newborn baby doesn't really know what the hell they're doing, right? They might smile, they might cry, they might laugh, but really they don't know what they're doing. And, this thing, we're all, it's just a matter of growing. But after a period of time, you start getting your wits about you. You start, growing in the spirit, right? Ultimately, the Most High, give the increase. So then I get to so I got, thing, demons fucking be big because, my blood brother's also in the truth, right? Broke the Abba Shem Yao Shai, right? And, I was like, okay, well, he's definitely a Jake, but maybe we got different dads, right? And, these are the demons, right? So that, the truth, when you first come in, you might have to battle. Let me grab this real quick. Right, it's First Peter's 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Right, and these demons know your weaknesses, man. Right, at any given point. Right, which is why it's always good to fast and to pray. Right, scriptures talk about pray without ceasing. Right, and certain demons where you got the account where the apostles, right, were basically trying to cast out demon, and then they couldn't, and when they asked Yahushua, yo, how come we couldn't cast it out? Yahushua basically said, hey, some demons you can't cast out but without fasting and prayer, right? So in the spirit, what you got to do, right? And to fast, according to the scriptures, 24-hour fast, right? And no food, no water, man. Right, so just as a thing on that, but so that was a demon on me, right? Trying to pull me out the truth, make me think, yeah, man's a Hamite, right? But through the spirit, man, if if you're yearning to get the truth of the Lord, right, then you're an Israelite, man, right? And the truth in its entirety, man, right? Not no half-assed truth, right? Because the truth of these scriptures, right, are unadulterated, man. Right? If you listen to the apostles of GMS and you're agreeing with what they're saying, then more likely than not, you're an Israelite, right? Because hey, look at the case with Vocab Malone, right? Vocab the Edomite, right? And with Vocab, my statement on him is, look, I've met a lot of German Jakes, man, right? But him, for me, through the spirit, I don't think he's an Israelite, man. I don't think he's an Israelite. I think he's a straight up Edomite, man. Right, but he's trying to, chop up the gospels. He's trying to say this. He's trying to say that. Right? He's trying to come up against everything we got to say. Right. So he's a demon, man. But if you're listening to the apostles and you're down, but more likely than not, you're an Israelite, man. Or if you want to push this word out, you're more likely than not an Israelite. This is Romans 8:16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. Right, nowadays we don't have the records, right? Those got burnt. But what we do have is we have the spirit, right? And through the spirit, we you vibe with something. You're like, you know what? This guy's actually a J. Right? This guy's actually an Israelite, man. And I remember there was a day that I had a realization, because there were like three kids, four geezers I went to school with. And it was a realization. I was like, right, they're all Jakes, right? Two were Albanians, one was Mauritian, another one was Bengali. And I was like, all of them can't be Jakes, can they? You know, when I first coming in. But you know what? Through the spirit, they were all Israelites, man. Right? Because this thing ain't about where you're from. Well, first things first, what does the scripture say? This is Hosea 1 and 10, right? It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be this as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. So basically, there's going to be a hell of a lot of Israelites, right? It says, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power, right? So now if a man is saying that actually, the only ones that are Israelites are, say, the Negroes from America, right? Let's say these people put that argument. That will make this scripture false, right? Because they say the population of America is 350 million, right? Which all of them ain't what would you call it? They're so-called Negroes, right? Which we know they're the tribe of Judah, right? So if you're saying that, that means this scripture ain't true. Right? If you ain't got no what do you call it? If you ain't got no Israelites among the among the Moabites, among the Elamites, Moabites being the Chinese, the Elamites being the East Indians, right? So called for both of them, for all of them, right? Those are the slave names, right? If you ain't got Israelites among them, that will make the Most High a liar, right? So Israel's the biggest nation. So you're going to have Israelites everywhere, right? As we will get in the scriptures, right? Because there's been this fight. I'll get that now. So Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, right? So the Lord, as a curse, was going to scatter us, amongst these heathen nations. And the thing is, you even got Israelites amongst them so-called Jews, man, right? And the reason why it's a curse is, well, if you're an Israelite and you look like a what do you call it? You look like an Edomite. That's really a curse. You can't even enjoy the sun, man. Right? But the beauty of it all is, and we'll get that at the end, is we all gonna be changed, right? So right now, that's why ultimately it don't matter how you look. If you really want to get to it, right? It really don't matter how you look, what your accent is, right? Because at the end of the day, certain things are of a stumbling block. You look at the guy, and one of my favorite composers, Hans Zimmer, right? You look at the guy, he looks like a straight up devil, right? But he's arguably the greatest film composer of our time, right? Yet you're gonna say he's an Edomite? Of course not. You don't have greats, unless it's wickedness, but you don't have the greats of a something, right? And that's a heathen. That'll make the Most High lie, because the Most High put a separation between the children of Israel and these heathens, man, right? So to say that, would you call it, the best in the world is a heathen? That's no, you know? This is Isaiah 11 and 11, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. Right, so basically saying, the Lord's going to get Israel from everywhere, right, all over the world, Egypt, Assyria, Pathros, Cush, and Elam, right? All of these different nations from the four corners of the earth. The Lord's going, what do you call it, pick up Israelites from those lands, man. It says, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth, right? So all Israel ultimately are scattered everywhere, right? So you can't, once again, even for yourself, you can't be looking at yourself and saying, "Oh, but I'm from here. I ain't on the sign." Because the sign is just where the bulk of the where the bulk of those of that nation is, right? But ultimately, everyone's scattered everywhere. Israel's been in different captivities, man. And don't forget, Israel like to have sex, right? An example I like to think of is war, right? You know, when the, say for example, the Moors went conquering or whatever, what have you, right? They weren't taking their women with them. It was mainly the men. I say mainly because, for instance, when you look at the Vikings, I believe some of them would have like their women would go in there, go with them or whatnot, what have you. But for the most part, war was fought by men, right? So, let's say them guys went there and pillaged a town, right, to pillage different parts of the world. They would leave their women behind, and when they went to go pillage those different parts of the world, they would, get horny, and they want to fuck someone. They will have sex, and then now you got what you call, now you got these your seed in amongst that side of the world, right? And you go back to your hometown, right? And for example, you see that in that History Channel program Vikings, right? Where basically they would go from where they were and they came to England, pillaged England, and they raped the women or whatever, what have you, and then they dip back home to wherever they were coming from, man. Right? But look, that's how seed spreads, right? Because then that woman would have had that one child, and that one son or whatever, what have you. He might have, three grandchildren, and then those three grandchildren, and so on and so forth, right? Because also remember, one of the things we were commanded to do is to be fruitful and to multiply. Right, I'll just add, what's this? I got two. I got Ezekiel 36:19. It says, and I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries according to their way and according to their doings. I judged them. Right. So the Lord Himself scattered us through the nations, man. When you read this, this is a good read, this chapter, where it goes into how basically the Lord's going to redeem us, basically to praise His holy name, right? I'll end on this, 1 Corinthians 15:51. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed, right? We shall be given incorruptible bodies, right? We shall be given new bodies with a spirit of flesh, and with a heart of flesh, right? Where we will never ever go off again, right? But in this salvation, we're going to be beamed up into them chariots, what the world calls UFOs, right? Which when you read through the scriptures, those are the chariots of the Most High. Sometimes they're called chariots, sometimes they're called clouds, right? You read the Exodus, right? That's it talks about a pillar of light by night. Right, that's talking about a chariot, man. What the world calls UFOs, but those are identified in the scriptures, right? But to go into them, your body has to be changed, right? Your body has to be changed. It says, in a moment, in the twinkle of an eye, at the last trump, the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Right? For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal shall put on immortality. And that's literal. We literally go and live forever. Because when we read this, the scriptures, it says the sting of, well, I'll go into it. It says, so when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. So if the second covenant, which is what really means, when you say the word to New Testament, the second covenant, when you read Hebrews the 8th chapter 6 verse on down, right, is basically we ain't gonna sin ever again, right? So if sin leads to death and we ain't ever gonna sin, that means we're never gonna die, and that's gonna be given to the Israelites, starting with the elect, the 144,000 and the elect, right? But then, those of our people that don't make it on this side, when they're reborn in the kingdom, they themselves are never going to sin again, and they will never die, right? But I believe that's all I got. So, hey, Lord's what I was there to find. And yeah, man, look, if once again, just to expound the point, if you're watching the apostles and you're diligently learning, right, and but you just got that demon of, oh, maybe I'm a heathen, whatever, what have you, more likely than not, if you're really, sincere about listening to the apostles of Great Millstone, more likely than not, you're an Israelite, man, because the scriptures say none of the wicked shall understand. Daniel's 12:10, right? So till next time, I'm going to say, Shalom.